Today, we're floating between planets in orbital ice cream on our way to our next mission. And I'm going to take you on a behind-the-scenes look into Sugar Pumps from the Nay album Push Button Future.
This granular sacrament wasn't an accident. Saccharine happened right in this transaction. And now you like Peppy cause pumps were on maximum. Sweetest destruction of stamina's axioms. We're all sipping it.
My name is Blizzle. I produced the album. We're going to take a look at some of the technical aspects in this specific song, Sugar Pumps, which is the first song on the album. Really excited sort of dance track that's gotten some great traction. We're so happy about that. This song, though, has a story that is slightly different than any other song on the album. Primarily because we also worked with the talented producer and engineer Justin James. This all came together after we wrote the song. We had some lyrical ideas and we were talking to Justin for some months. And this song became that first time where we were like, let's do it. Let's just go for it. Play us some stuff that you've written. We'll bring some stuff we've written. Let's see what happens. And some magic happened. So we were really excited about that. Justin was a pleasure to work with in the studio and is also really, really talented at allowing Nay to be comfortable and do what she needs, but also give feedback and push when needed. And that's a skill that can only be learned by being in the room with creative people who are trying to create under pressure. It's a very different environment, and it's one that is exciting for me personally, and I enjoy sort of managing that. But it's one that a lot of people... What I'm going to do is take you into the computer a little bit and talk about the organization of collaboration producing pop music. So, without further ado, let's check it out. So here in the computer we have the session for Sugar Pumps. We're using Logic Pro 10, and you'll see a lot of things are sort of muted and pulled out of the session, and the organization overall is designed so I can very quickly get to things. So color coordination for me, all my drums here in this sort of dark red, as well as a couple sound effects. My bass is in a green. I've got a bunch of synths in blue, and then vocals for Nay are in pink, and for Blizz are in blue. For me, that organizational elements, the time it takes to do that is unbelievably worth it. I recommend doing that no matter how small. Like this session is sort of a medium-sized session with 53 tracks and maybe 10 or 15 aux tracks, up to large sessions where you have, potentially 100 or so. What I'm going to do, though, is jump even further back into actually collaborating with Justin and the files and how that works. So we originally recorded the basic ideas for this song in Pro Tools. And Justin James, sent me a folder with the session and some bounced mixes he had done real quick, put together there, as well as stems, which are short little segments of all the samples that we used in the track, at least at that point. My job, in many ways, was to make sure that all of these came in correctly into Logic and then rebuild the song and restructure it the way that it turns out on the album. And keeping all this stuff organized is quite important. My session for Sugar Pumps has 7 different versions of the mix, a lot of versions of different bounces. These were full mixes in general, pre-mastered versions starting version 6 going all the way through version 12, where we were trying to figure out a couple issues that were going on in mastering, but Collin Jordan over at the Boiler Room helped us fix that. And then here you can actually see the organization for the entire album. So for me, once we start getting the songs together that go on an album, they go into a folder. In this case, it was called EP1, even though it's not an EP, Push Button Future. Then I get them in order of how they'll be on the album, and I've already got folders going for the next 2 albums as we work on those. And everything else that you see in this folder is all in the Nay Music folder. All of that. So as I keep things organized and color coordinated, it's very easy for me to get to a song, get all the way into the stems or the session that I want. And then by the end, we hopefully get to something that looks like this.
Wasn't an accident, saccharin happened right in this transaction. And now you like peppy, cause pumps were on maximum. Sweetest attraction of stamina's axiom. Swirl it, sipping it, dipping it, licking it, pumping the sugar, you won't be forgetting it. Like you won't be forgetting, we pumping the sugar, you won't be forgetting it.
So that's sort of the basic organization of a session. You can see all of the edits going on in here. In just that wrap section with Blizzle, there is a lot going on. So, hopefully that's a little insight into how we produced Sugar Pumps on the Push Button Future album released by Nay and produced by me, Blizzle. We'll talk to you next time in Behind the... No, what is it?
Story behind the music.
Story behind the music. Until then, we'll see you at Orbital Ice Cream on our way to our next mission. Thanks. Sorry. Hello.